Selectors, and welcome back to the LifeBurst Podcast. We're talking about 2-card combos. We're finishing up this series of videos, so that way you guys can get some new ideas, old tech, new tech for your decks. Here is another one that you can use. This one's sort of built for each other. It came out in the set, but you may have missed it, which is Green Lubidor and Pastra type Dre. Basically, the idea is that Green Lubidor is able to pump something on your field. Specifically, Venoms get 10,000 power. Pasta allows you... I always call it Pasta. I know it's not Pasta. Patra allows you to basically pay an enter, give itself negative 10,000, and give a negative 10,000 on the opponent's field. This is one of the few times that you can actually, in mono green, kill stuff. Or, again, this is better in a black deck, but you can play it in a green deck without black, and it would be perfectly acceptable. So if you're looking for more ways to open up lanes in your green deck and you don't have that, this is a great choice to use. Also, it's worth mentioning that these cards are pretty good on their own, too. They're a little undervalued on their own. Being able to just pump something so that way you can get over Machina Smash, and being able to fill out your deck with various cards from just some enter with Piatra is really, really good. Moving on. We've got Eldoria. So Eldoria has and I've got a sneak peek here into set 10. Eldoria has a pretty unique effect that likes life bursts, right? This is something that you don't quite see often in Wixoss. You see it in All-Star Wixoss a bit, but there's a lot of life burst shenanigans that you can do in Wixoss, and Eldoria explores that a little bit. Basically, she gives all of your stuff without without a life burst on it, a life burst, and that life burst can be either draw 1 or enter charge 1. Okay, so what do you do with that? Well, Machina Repair is really good because you basically just take a card, and again, it's specifically a card without life burst, and you put it onto your life cloth. So this basically prevents 1 damage and gives you 1 enter. However, with Eldoria, it prevents 1 damage and gives you 2 enter, or prevents 1 damage, gives you an enter, and lets you draw a card. That's pretty fantastic, in my opinion, for just a steep cost of 0. The other one is a Urith assist. Now, this Urith assist is very strange. Basically, it says you have to sacrifice 2 Signy on your field at the end of your turn, and you gain 2 life cloth. That is normally not very good. There are some niche scenarios where actually it's very, very, very strong. Those niche scenarios being that in some decks, there's some metas where the lane opening becomes so strong that it's going to happen no matter what. This is a good way to do for 0 enter, prevent 2 damage, basically. And those lanes are going to be opened no matter what. We're not currently in that meta. We're currently in a meta where we're just dealing 1 damage on the field and 1 damage with Elrig. So opening up your own lanes is not super great. However, opening up, being able to enter charge 4 with that is insane. Or being able to enter charge 2 and draw 2. We're assuming here that the life burst is getting hit and you're gaining the enter, by the way. That's really, really strong, is just being able to get a lot of bulk resources for those types of things. So look into this type of effect if you want with your Eldoria decks. But they are very, very strong. Moving on, we've got Musica. I actually think Musica is a lot stronger than people realize. And it's got a very unique effect that no other deck really does, which is that you can reuse an assist. And as the game gets older, there is power creep, and assists are not immune to the power creep. They also get better. So as we move forward with the game, what you're going to see is more powerful level 2s. As more powerful level 2s grow, weirdly, Musica gets a bit of a growth spurt with that as well, because its ability is to reuse a level 2. The other effects are also pretty okay, but Musica lives and dies on how good the level 2's effects are. So I've got some 3 level 2's here that I think are specifically good. These ones specifically are good because they pay for themselves, right? So you got to pay 1 enter to bring Musica back, the level 2 back to your hand. So you're going to be down 1 enter. However, all of these enter charge you, and they can enter charge you for more than what you're paying. So you'll get your enter back. Senga has the ability to be a, first off, diagram if you want to run diagram, but also then replay itself. Um, and then the other things basically help deal extra damage. I put Coco Lupico on it as well because I think this card is really good, specifically in a Musica deck. But I see it underutilized. I think it's actually just a good card in general, but it cheapens how much grow costs. So if, for example, you wanted to use a really strong level 2, but the cost is going to become really, really, really high because of the Musica's tax of popping it back into your Elrig deck and then replaying it for cost as well, and it doesn't enter charge. Lupico helps with that, right? Because the it's a constant ability and it's not once per turn, by the way. So you can go ahead and basically reduce your cost for up to 2 on it, which is very, very strong. Then we've got Right. So Right just had 2 decks top 8 in the recent GP that happened. So it's being, I think, underappreciated a little bit. It's not the strongest card in the world. It's just some utility that you can get from it. Right allows you to, or White, I guess it's pronounced White, allows you to basically say when this card is discarded by your effect, specifically your effect, you can pay an enter. If you do, you can bring it back to your hand. This has quite a few utilities here. The first one's going to be Ogana. Being able to discard it and then bring it back is pretty good. It was used in a Madoka deck in the top 8, 2 Madoka decks in the top 8, and the reason being is it helps you not necessarily be immune to discard, but gives you discard fodder. Not only can you discard this to the discard to make it good, but drawing the extra cards so that you've got a buffer zone between what your, I don't know, what your good cards are and what your just cards that you're willing to discard is very strong. Ogana discards a card to open up a lane. Fornax discards a card to burn and enter. Monoman discards a card to make the opponent discard a card. And X is also another good one that I think it could be utilized in that isn't. Basically, it turns into whenever you attach a soul, you can pay 1, and if you do, draw a card, right? Because you draw a card, discard a card with X. So Right has the effect to kind of change the games in that. Again, we're always looking for stuff that says auto and does not say once per turn. Wolf over here, Werewolf is pretty good if you have ways to bring it back from the trash. So far, this is one of the only Signy that I'm like very interested in that also is a thing that comes back from your trash and does an effect. There's a few other ones. Kazuko, for example, does it. I haven't been thrilled with that one. This one's fine. This one's above average. It's got the ability to pay a black enter if you do get negative 10,000. Negative 10,000 is above rate, so I like it. And basically, if you have a way to mill and bring back, like for example, Iona does, then this is great. However, it does need to. The problem is it does need to be brought back from the trash to field, and there's only few effects that do that. Black has a few assists that do that don't have that are able to do that as well. And this is when it attacks, so it theoretically can work well with that. But then you're giving up defensive stuff. I don't know. It's an option. I just wanted to make people aware of it. Should this type of deck become more cards and more supported, there's more ways to do it, then Werewolf is going to be a key player in that kind of stuff. We've got coins! Wow! This is really only to say, hey, if you've got coins and you want coin effects, you can have them, right? And I think the best ones right now that you really can be doing is Donna and Rill. These are really good ways to basically do something on the field and gain coins. And then the coin payoffs can be pretty good here. Again, you want to limit your coin payoffs to being 2 or less because these will only gain you 2 coins. Right now, there's no amazing cards that you can get for 2 coins, but you get some good utility. So I think if you are already saying, let's say, playing Akino, and you've got a bounce as your level 1 assist, you could thinking about swapping it over to Donna and getting some kind of other coin effect should you want whatever that coin is giving you. Basically, I think if you are tight on enter and you need some more effects and you don't have the enter to give for it, you could theoretically swap to an assist that gives you coins, and then you basically gain, quote-unquote, gain that enter. All right, we're going to Mel accessories that you can do. The first one is Ketcha. Ketcha can give something plus 10,000 powers. If you are running Patra on it, Patra has this effect that once per turn you can pay an enter and give this Signy negative 10,000 power, and then give the Signy on the opponent's field negative 10,000 power, right? It can only happen if it's 20k or more. This is kind of one of those cool things where, so you can give this Signy this ability, right? Give something negative 10,000 by spending an enter, attack, maybe deal damage, maybe vanish something. And then on your opponent's turn, it's only until end of turn, right? So then this gets plus 10,000 power again, becomes a 20k. It's almost hard to vanish that. It's almost impossible to vanish that. On your turn, you get to do it again because it's an action. So you get to do this multiple times. This basically sticks around for a really long time, being really, really massively annoying and constantly opening lanes on the opponent's effects. Because you gotta always play on the opponent's, like, even if you end up with a 3-3-2 field, very rarely is it 12,000 the whole way across. So it's a very good combo that you can be doing with Mel's abilities. Here's another one of Mel's abilities, gaining Lancer. I have a lot of experiences with Bang, which also gains Lancer to something. These are probably the 3 best things you can give Lancer to right now. Yukimi giving Lancer to that means that you can vanish something on the opponent's field, trash it, and still hit for damage. Phalaris is the nastiest thing that you can give Lancer to, because it will mill them out and also deal damage. So you theoretically can refresh them and also Lancer them. And then Tama is a really good one, and for a strange reason. It's immune to life bursts, which means that you can wait on attacking with your Tama. The opponent will hit a life burst maybe that could vanish it or could down it or freeze it or any of these things, and you can be like, well, it's immune to level 2 or less Signy on my turn while it has Lancer still, so it's not going to happen. I'm still going to attack with my Tama and kill something. So it's one of those things where you can put not all your eggs in one basket with your Lancer, which is something I like about it. All right, Carnival and Alius. So Aliut Perlus is a effect where both of these combine beautifully to create a one living cohesive 1-card combo. First off, this gives you 2 coins. Second, this thing has the ability to use 2 coins to make the opponent discard a card. Cool, you've got a combo there. Another combo that you have is that this card wants you to discard a card for an effect and gives you a theoretically not card advantage because you don't get a card back from it, really. Perlu, however, lets you take a card that you trash, or that you put into your trash from your hand, basically, from discarding, and put it into play, which means that now Carnival is straight up card advantage, which is fantastic. Now their other ability also matches. You can make 2 Signy on your opponent's field, Servant Zeros, which, to be clear here, Servant Zeros have power of 1,000 and are vanilla. And then Perluke here allows you to, if you take a card from your trash and put it into the field, aka through its discard effect, then you can give a target Signy negative 2,000 and freeze it till end of turn. The freeze isn't really important, but the negative 2,000 is because it'll kill anything that Carnival made into a Servant Zero. So between the two of them, they're built. They just are super built for this combo. They're very, very strong together, and they're okay apart from each other, but together they're very, very strong. The last 2 card combo that you might want to consider here is Countdown Heals, as well as Song of Wixoss, plus Flat Throw. So Flat Throw is one of the few ways that you can get direct damage in this game. You can crush a Life Cloth directly, but the requirement is that you need to have 6 or more cards in your hand in order to do it. Song of Wixoss is an easy way to do it, however, it requires you to play blue, because you can get yourself 3 cards, and you don't really care about the discard effect because you will have no cards in your hand because Flat Throw will discard them all for you. Countdown Heals is actually another way to do it for 1 enter. You can get up to 3 cards into your hand. They've all got to share a class, but that's not too difficult to do, and there are futures where the class mechanics become better, and thus you have just more overlapping class mechanics in general. So this also becomes a way for Flat Throw to work well. Plus, let's say you are playing a weapon deck, which does exist lately in the future, come set 13. You can actually bring Flat Throw back to your hand with this ability too, and then still utilize it. So very strong. I think these are the 2 pieces that really go very well with Flat Throw. I mean, there's other things too. You can play Trouble, draw 3 cards with that, but that's more enter to do it, and we're trying to keep it cheap or free. So that is the last 2-card combo. I'm going to wait another like 5 sets before I do another revamp of these 2-card combos. But I hope you enjoyed these 3-part 2-card combos. And I hope they helped inspire you.